Okay, let's decorate some cookies. So one of the very important tools of the cookie maker or someone doing this kind of flood is the scribe tool, and that's what this is. It's just a sharp pointed, not as sharp as a needle, but it's pretty sharp. And the idea is just if you need to pop a bubble or spread your flood around, this is the tool for that. You can use a toothpick, which is what I've always done before today, because I just got this. So there's my scribe tool. And this is the little beehive with a little bee right there. And my hive itself will be yellow with a little brown hole for the door and then the bee on top. Now, I have never done this type of outline and flood with a cookie that has these impressions on it. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the icing. But the first thing I'm going to do is the outlines. And I want to do several. This is all of the beehive cookies I have, so I'm going to do all of these at the same time, and I'll need to do the outlines, give that time to dry, and then do the flooding. Now, the outline consistency, remember, is not as loose, doesn't have as much water, so it will dry quicker, and it really only needs to dry enough that I can do the flood without disturbing the outline. Then the flood itself, particularly because it's a very loose, very thin flood. Again, some people use a much thicker flood in part because they want it to dry quickly. This, depending on how much flood is in one spot, could take overnight to dry. So some of these I won't be able to finish until tomorrow because I don't have a dehydrator. So professional cookie decorators will have a decent sized decorator with 6, 8, 10 trays, and they just put their cookies on these trays, put them in and out of the dehydrator, and might only take 20 to 30 minutes to dry. So, but I don't have one of those. Maybe someday if I get to a point where I'm doing a lot of these, I might get one of those. Or Christmas gift idea. Okay, so I'm starting with the outline consistency for the beehive. And one thing that I learned by watching the videos, number one, is that they're always squeezing. Can you see how the seam is right here? And I'm squeezing and pushing where the seam is, because I want to make sure that seam is not going to cause the hole that I cut to be oval again. And I also want to do a couple of practice tries with my icing. It's just a good idea to get a feel for your consistency, because since you do this just by dropping little bits, there's a chance you don't have the same consistency every time. You might have noticed that I pulled out my beautiful, heavy, cold marble slab, and someday I will actually use this to make some chocolate designs, but today it's going to serve as a nice background for my cookies. Once I get the outlines done, I'm going to set them on the parchment paper and work on other cookies until they're dry, then I'll come back and flood them. So with the seam on the top and bottom, I'm going to make a very tiny hole, and I can always make the hole bigger. If I need to make a smaller hole, I'm going to have to put all this frosting in a new pipette bag and start over. I have a feeling what I just did is going to be too small, but let's check it out. Yeah, if it curls like that, it's probably a little too thin. I think I want it a little bit thicker. I mean, that's probably less than a millimeter more that I just cut off there. Again, remember, I am not a professional. If you watch the Little Cookie Company videos, you'll see a professional do this, and it's beautiful. Mine won't be that perfect, but I still want it thicker. I want that outline to be big enough that when I flood it, it doesn't go everywhere. That's better. Whew. I did get a little bit in a hurry right here, so it's not perfect. Yeah, I might have to do like a double thickness here, just so it acts as an outline. With the scribe, you're supposed to get these little bumps off by just sort of poking it with your scribe. Let's try this B again. Do it from the other side. That's better. I have a wet paper towel sitting over here, and each time I start or stop, I'm just pinching the tip to get any little plug that might have dried up in there out. I think that if this cookie were flat, that would be perfect. But since it's got these hills and valleys, it's giving me an extra challenge. You can tell that this is my first one. Sloppier, and, well, the icing's a little darker too because it's more dry, but. All right, so I'm going to flood these, and I'm going to start with the little door. So I'm using the flood consistency, and I don't have a very big hole here, mostly because this is a pretty small area. Now, because this is so thin, it should just settle on its own. Some people will shake them like that, or use the scribe to settle it, but I feel like I didn't quite get it all the way to the edge here. One of the reasons you have the scribe is that you can use it to fix the shape of things. If you don't quite like the way your outline ended up, you can sort of cheat the flood over a bit. While it's wet, I'm going to do a wet on wet technique where to put some stripes on the bee. And it's wet on wet so that the yellow will sink down into the black. We don't want it to look like the yellow is on top of the black because it's not different layers in their stripes, just different colors in the same plane. Wings. Okay, now the last part is the hive layers, and something she mentioned in her videos was called cavitation. So apparently, if you have thin, narrow areas to flood, the edges will dry more quickly than the center, and then when they dry, for whatever reason, the center part will cave in. I've never had that happen, but I have not done this too many times. So the way she dealt with this is that she takes her outline consistency and makes little squiggles down the middle, and then she floods on top of that. I don't know if that's necessary, but she said, when in doubt, just do it. And I say, all right, I'll do it. She floods with a much larger hole in her bag. I'm just afraid to do that because I need a little more control since I'm so new at this. I have to use the scribe to get everything right up to the border. And into these little small areas. Maybe I should have done the yellow before the wings. I am going to put a little bee head on with black right here after the flood dries. So there's one. Oh. Okay, I'm only going to flood every other section this time. Now, I don't know if I was supposed to put this little squiggle in the ones that I'm not flooding yet, so I'm not doing it this time. These actually look pretty cool, even without that other layer of frosting. Fortunately, this is the cookie with the most yellow on it because I'm just about through my first bag. I think I'm going to leave these like this. Some people don't want it completely covered with frosting. I know in the cookie challenge shows, they don't like to see naked cookie at all. I can always come back and do it if I have enough frosting. So I'm going to set these aside so they can dry. I just keep thinking, no naked cookie. So I'm going to go ahead and do these. since I have so many different types of cookies to do and multiples of each one, I think what I'm going to do on camera is one or two, probably two of each one, and then just turn the camera off and do the rest of them, because I don't need to like fast forward through the whole thing. Just need to see a couple of them. So that's what I'm going to do. For these cute little daisies, I'm going to outline the petals with white. I want to make these white. One thing I learned from the cookie company, the little cookie company, that I tried to do on the beehive edges is over exaggerate when you have one of these, curved spots that comes in like that. Over exaggerate the end part. These little rays in the middle are going to be yellow. So I'm just using my outline consistency to fill these little troughs. Okay, haven't used my brown outline yet, but that's what color the center is going to be. A little practice on the side. Oops. See that little curl right there? That's because I need to get a little bit larger hole in my tip. If I put the flood in right now, I should be able to fix that. I think that's what she did. You can use that flood to sort of fix messed up edges since it's so thin. Hey, looks great. Okay, I'll just let that yellow dry a bit and then I'll fill that in with white. Tomorrow, after this is dry, I'll put some little dots on the brown so that you can see the little stigmas. All right, how about the hive here? Look, I didn't press that one down well enough, but it's all right. Probably no one will be able to tell. I'm going to outline it with yellow and then put an inner outline with brown and then fill it with yellow. See how that goes. This is the brown outline. Yeah, I'm going to use the flood. See how that looks. So I'm afraid that's not going to settle very well. See right there? I think that's cavitation. That little spot. All I have to do for this case is just fill that in with a little bit of blood. It'll settle, it'll dry. Maybe nobody will notice. I watched another video that it was called Borderlands Bakery, whatever I said before. And she talked about cavitation, and she basically just said, get your frosting texture right, and it won't happen. So, I don't know. Like I said, I don't recall that really happening before to me. At least not very bad. But it was devastating. Is this one big enough that I don't have to worry about that cavitation? Apparently when they're bigger, you don't have that problem. I'm going to put just a little bit in the middle, just to be safe. Okay, well, that's how I will do these two. For the little, I'm going to call them suns. I'm going to flood them with yellow and then put little faces on them after the flood dries. Now these bees are going to be a little bit complicated, but I think I'll start with the black. I need to be less precise on this than I was on the little baby bees over there. Just realized that that's what it's trying to show, is that this wing is in front of the other one. It makes sense. Okay, now I need to let these suns dry overnight, and then I'm going to put little faces on them. Black blood goes here. Yay! After they dry, I'll do a little bit of something on the wings just to give a little something extra. That's these two today. Okay, I have 3 left. The honey pot, the side beef inside, and this honeycomb, which was not part of the original set. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one because I'm going to run out of yellow, so I have to put some thought into that one. But this one, I'm going to outline in brown. Most of it's going to be brown. I want to write the word honey and do the bow and treat them sort of like outline, where I'll go around them with the flood. I'm going to make it a green. This is the lid. Both parts of this are the lid, and this is the pot. So I think I'll make the lid green. This is a forest green, and I'm going to add a drop of black. It'll make it sort of a muted green. That's a cool color. So I'm going to make the ribbon yellow. And the word honey. And since these are impressions, I'm going to make sure to get plenty here so that they don't get lost when I put the colors in. Okay, maybe I can do better on this one. I'm not putting quite as much frosting, icing, whatever you call it. I'll probably have to go back over this after I fill this in because it's going to get sort of lost in there, but worry about that later. Let's go to Mr. Side B. Okay, wing outline in white. It's time for the green flood. Oh, I forgot. I don't want to do the top yet, because I want there to be a distinction between these two. So I'm just going to do the bottom one and then come back. Of course, I had to do this on the one that has pretty writing. I did not pick something easy to start with, did I? Whew. Well, my phone died at some point. I have no idea when, but I'll get some more videos of doing this one after my phone charges. For the honey pots, I'm going to wait until the flood dries and then go over the ribbon and the word honey again. And then after these floods dry, I'll add a little bit of detail. Okay, so the last one is this little hive with the bee. Since I have more of the brown, I'm definitely going to outline it in brown. See what happens after that. It's not a bad looking little bee. Okay, that's going to dry, and then I'll put the brown flood in, and that will be examples of all of them for now.
I'm afraid of the bees. They look so real. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Hello, world.
Hi, this is my husband Chauncey, if you haven't seen the other videos. And I finally got them done. I didn't do too much more yesterday evening because I'm not an evening person, I'm a morning person. So I got up early and I finished them all, 44 cookies, 8 different cookie cutters. And if I didn't meet the technical challenge, I don't know who would. Of course, it took me 3 days, but the lady on the Little Cookie Company YouTube channel, she actually gives herself 5 days to make an order, say, of 40 or 50 or 80 cookies, because she makes the dough on one day and makes the frosting another day and floods, and she even has a dehydrator. But I think she also has a daytime job too. So, you have to give yourself time to do these things. Okay, well, I am super excited about how they turned out. And these are ginger and orange flavored sugar cookies, cutout cookies. So the orange flavor is in both the cookie and the icing, and the ginger, there's a little candied ginger in the cookies themselves. And I hope you like them.
I've been dying to try them.
Okay.
And I can attest that this was a lot of work. Lots of work. It wore her out.
Yeah.
So
I even have a picture. Well, I'll see if it looks okay. He took a picture of the dog sitting here next to me while I was doing it early this morning. So, okay, pick one that has a mistake in it.
Well, that's hard to do because I don't see any mistakes on any of them.
Well, there are some. But anyway, pick whatever you want.
Pick me a cookie that has a mistake. I don't see any.
They're pretty small. Like, so something that happened, and I'm not sure why. For example, this one, and I'll explain, or, I think I have some pictures of them. There were certain places where the frosting got a little hole in it. And I know that that's called cavitation, and for the narrow areas that I filled in, I think I avoided cavitation in most cases. This one has a little bit. But I don't know why it did it, even on my outlines or on these little spots. Like when I was doing the little bee head, there's a little dot. Here's an eye. Sure. And so I don't know why that's happening. So I'm going to post this question to some of the cookie experts and ask them. But I don't know. Would you like a little sunshine?
Every day.
Oh, and I'm going to have one too. Which one shall I have? My favorites are these little flowers, of course.
I was going to say you like flowers, so.
Yeah. I think I made more of these, not necessarily because I like them, but because when I was doing the cookie dough, I had room for just one little small thing, and this seems to be the smallest one. So, anyway.
Yeah. Sounds good. Cheers. How many do you need to take to school? You might have a lot fewer. That's very good. Very tasty. Taste the orange in it.
Definitely taste the orange. I didn't want to overwhelm it with ginger, but I put ginger powder and candied ginger. So there should be chunks of ginger somewhere.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll find it in the cookie somewhere. So. If we had taste vision, we'd be loving these cookies. Seriously.
Yay.
Yeah, great job.
Good, thank you.
They're wonderful. All right, great.
Thanks.
Good job.
Love you.
Love you too.
My dog is licking my shoe, so I'm thinking I must have spilled or dropped some frosting. What are you doing? Okay, well, this is the end of the technical challenge episode to make cookies with royal icing. So I say I met the challenge. I think I could do what they did maybe in 2.5 hours. Maybe, I wonder if they had dehydrators. I don't know. But they did have to flood and then decorate on top of the flood, so they might have been able to do that. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please subscribe, share, like. All of those things will help me out a lot. Thanks. Bye.